What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Midterm Rental Show. I'm your host, Bailey Kramer, and in this episode, I'm going to share the full details on the 5th midterm rental property that I bought. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, if you are just tuning in for the first time and new to this podcast and this channel, I am doing a series on all of the properties that I bought and doing a deep dive on them. So I already talked about the first 4 properties in 4 different previous episodes, so you can check those out. But this property is going to be about the 5th property I bought, and I have bought several more properties as well, so those episodes will come in the future. Okay, so this story starts March 2025. I found a property on Zillow that was just like a 10-minute drive from my other midterm rental property that I thought could make another really good midterm rental. Now, something interesting about this property that I bought is it didn't have any Airbnbs in the neighborhood. And if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that one of my tricks to knowing if a property is in a good location is by seeing the other Airbnbs around it and looking for the location rating. Well, this property was a little bit unique because it didn't have any comparables. So a few things I did in case you guys are in this position as well is, number 1, I did Google Street View. That way I'm able to see kind of what the neighborhood looks like, and that gives me an idea. And then number 2, I looked at the properties that sold and are for sale around it, and they looked pretty nice. So if all the properties around it are nice, I had to assume that this was a good neighborhood. Okay, so anyways, I reach out to the realtor in March and I say, hey, my name is Bailey and I was calling about your listing. Again, we're just gonna call this 123 Main Street. And I asked if they had any additional pictures of the interior. Reason why I said that is because this listing didn't have a ton of pictures. It had enough to know that it needed work. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll pop some up on the screen. But again, didn't have pictures of the bathroom specifically, which kind of raised a little bit of a red flag. And then the realtor responded and said, I don't have any additional pictures. There is an online auction going on for the personal property until mid-March, and then it will be removed, and then she'll get me pictures once that happens. So for additional context here, the property is listed for $110,000. So I essentially called her, got some more details on the situation of the property, found out that somebody died in the property and their kids essentially now own the property and they're just looking to sell it. So after running my numbers, I told her that I would be at $70,000 to buy this property. And again, it's listed for $110,000. I asked for $40,000 less, which is $70,000. So she responded to my offer of $70,000, and this is all just via text message. And she said, good afternoon, Bailey. My sellers are currently at $110,000. But they do love the idea of a quick close, but can't close any sooner than April 15th to get the personal items out of the home. Let us know what you think. And I told her again, I am at $70,000. If you get me more pictures and I can see this bathroom and it blows me away, maybe I'll be a little higher, but at this point, we're pretty far off. So a few days later, she sends me a picture of the bathroom. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll pop it up on the screen. It's not a great picture because, I don't know, she sent me a bad picture. But this bathroom was an absolute mess. Basically what happened was the seller, before he died, was trying to take out the bathtub and build a stand-up shower. And essentially, midway through the project, he stopped and then died, and the bathroom was a complete wreck. And then to make matters worse, the realtor texted me and said, we also found another lien against the property at $68,000. So the sellers really do need very close to their asking price to get out from underneath it. And at that point, I was like, dang, that really stinks, because it sounds like the seller who died had a lien on the property. I don't know what it was for, but the realtor said it was something to do with a construction loan, and that made the situation really, really tough. So I said to her, the bathroom is a mess, the property needs a lot of work, I can't get really any higher than $70,000. And the realtor said, I think for the moment, they're going to fix up the bathroom and then try to relist it. So I followed up a few weeks later to see the status of the bathroom, and I asked if they finished it because it's been a few weeks and the bathroom was pretty small. And she said, no, they're getting quotes today. And I was super shocked because that bathroom remodel should have taken 3 days maximum, and it's been a few weeks and they haven't even gotten a quote. So I knew something was up. So I followed up 2 weeks later and I said, hey, just saw the price drop. Did they end up doing the bathroom renovation or no? And she said, no, the estimate was around $16,000 for the whole bath remodel. So they just dropped the price by $15,000 instead. And I said, okay, got it. I'm still interested at $70,000 and can close in 7 days. And she responded and said, currently working with an investor that is verbally offering $85,000. So these sellers are entertaining that. Thank you for your interest. So they went from $110,000 asking price, then they dropped it to $95,000. And then all of a sudden they're entertaining a different offer for $85,000. So I knew that I was getting closer and closer to what the sellers were asking for. So a few days later, I texted the realtor again. I said, hey, I see the property is still available, so I'm assuming the $85,000 offer didn't go through. I said, let me know the status. I'm hungry to buy another deal by the end of the month. Now, why did I say that? I don't know. I just want to create some urgency. I didn't really need to buy another deal, but I wanted to, so just figured that would throw some urgency out. And she responded and said, thank you, they are still deciding. It doesn't net a ton of money from them, and they are willing to wait for a better offer. So at this point, I hear that they're kind of open to $85,000. I rerun my numbers, and it was a little bit tight, but I said, you know what? I am buying this deal at $85,000. Now, I want to be clear. When I ran my numbers, it did work for $85,000, although it was tight. So don't just think I went up for no reason and recklessly bought it. Like, the numbers kind of made sense at 85, so I was comfortable with it. So I officially went under contract, and at this point, two very important things had to happen. Number one, I had to line up my financing, and number two, I had to line up my construction. So for the financing of the deal, I used a private money lender who lent me $85,000 for the purchase price and then an additional $25,000 for the renovations, because that's how much I budgeted for the renovations. So that's $110,000 all into the property, and I estimated the property to be worth around $145,000 afterwards, which, if all went according to plan, which I'll tell you more, would have basically allowed me to BRRRR this property and have very little money into the deal. Okay, so that's the financing side. Now the construction side of things, I called up my handyman who did the previous renovation. If you listen to the last episode where I talked about my fourth deal I bought, I talked about how I found the contractor and all that there. But anyways, he came to the property and stayed in the town for, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks or so, renovating the property. And since I bought the property for a little bit more than I wanted to, and I did have some time on my hands at the time, so I went to the property personally and did some demolition and also tried to do some painting that totally didn't go well. But the demolition that I did, I really wish I recorded this, but I ended up essentially knocking down an attached porch in the backyard. Basically, it was old, it was already falling apart, and it just seemed like a complete liability, and it wasn't adding any value to the house. So I spent literally 2 full days knocking this thing down. I can't even put into words how stupid of it was for me to do that, and how much time, energy, like I can just talking about, I can feel my back hurting. It was like crazy physical labor that I don't know why I did that. In hindsight, I would have just hired somebody because that was ridiculous. And when I ended up chopping down the porch, it almost fell on me. It was crazy. But anyways, I did that, saved probably a couple $1,000, which was good. And my handyman basically did everything else. So we redid the floors. I painted the kitchen cabinets. That was one other thing that I did. He painted the entire house, redid the entire bathroom, replaced all the fans, and I don't know. It was a complete renovation. So I'll put before and after pictures if you're watching this on YouTube. The property looked really, really good once it was done. And I did stay pretty much on budget on this one. I spent about $25,000. Half of that roughly was for materials, and then the other half was roughly to pay my handyman, aka my contractor. So when the property was fully renovated, I personally went back to the property to put together the furniture. Now that was actually kind of a fun process because I vlogged the whole thing. So if you're interested in checking out the vlog that I did, I'll leave a link to it down below. So I won't go into too many details about the actual furnishing of it because again, the vlog does a way better job than I can right now. But I got it furnished and rented out fairly quickly on Airbnb. So what happened was someone reached out to me on Airbnb and said, hey, we're a construction crew. We want to rent it for, I think they said 8 weeks roughly, but they want to do it week by week. And they had good reviews on Airbnb. So I was like, listen, whatever. If we can get money starting to come in right now, sounds good to me. So they ended up renting it week by week, and they lasted like 8 to 12 weeks. And then I had another crew come in for a few months. So it's been rented really solid. Now, one important thing that I completely skipped over here is what happened at the end of furnishing the property. So once I furnished it, it was time to refinance it. I got the appraisal done, and it appraised for $162,000. And if we're being really specific, it was $162,500, which I was absolutely blown away with, super, super happy. So when I got the DSCR loan, it was a 70% loan to value, meaning I got a loan for $113,000, which I used to basically pay back my private money lender the $110,000 that he lent me, plus interest for the time that he lent me the money. So this was probably my most successful BRRRR deal because I just about no money out of pocket. So yeah, now it's rented. It's doing super well as a midterm rental, and I plan to do more deals just like this going forward. So that's pretty much all the things I can think of for this specific property. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything about this deal or any other deals, send me a message on Instagram, comment below. I'm here to help you guys on your journey, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.